Okay, part 2.
Okay, this next one's just a simplifying problem. Now some of you can probably find the answer that quick in your head. Some of you may need to work through it. Remember, you have to distribute this power first to everything inside, okay, before you multiply straight across. Okay, so it's going to be 3x cubed, y to the 4th. The front does not change any. When you cube everything in the second one, you get negative 8, x to the 6th, y to the 15th. The power raised to a power, you multiply the exponents. Next, you multiply your coefficients, negative 24. You keep your variables and add your exponents. There's your answer. Let's see, what answer choice is that? Negative 24, x to the 9th, y to the 19th. It looks like that is answer choice B. I'm looking at it right. See, that's another one of those you could have probably done process of elimination. If you're quick with this, you understand your exponent rules real easy. You know this is negative 8 times 3. Negative 24 is going to be your leading coefficient. Okay? I try to encourage my kids to get strong enough in this where they can take this problem and get to the answer immediately without any calculations. But the ones I'm teaching exponents to right now are 8th graders, so we're practicing. We're trying to get there. Any questions about this one? Okay. That's my phone. Sorry. Okay. Number 32. Find the greatest common factor of 116x and 128. Okay, I'm looking at it. If you know your factors very well, you know that. Look at your answer choices. 128x cannot be a factor of 116x. So you know your last answer is out. 128 is not divisible by 116. So the next answer is out. You have 2, 4, and 32. What I would check is I'd check for 32 first. Is this divisible by 32? 116. It's not. So it's got to be 2 or 4. They're both even. The way you check for divisibility by 4 is you look at your last 2 digits. If they're divisible by 4, then the whole thing is divisible by 4. So this is just a what we call a scalar. If this number is divisible by 4, the whole thing is going to be divisible by 4. Whoops. Yeah, that's normal. Things fly in my class. That's why kids don't sit too close to me. Okay. So the answer here is 4. Your GCF in this case is 4. This is one of the basic knowledge questions. What's the answer choice? G. Okay, the next one. Determine the slope of the line perpendicular. Keyword here is perpendicular. When you have a equation in standard form, your slope is always negative a over b. So the slope of the equation they gave us is 3/5. What's the slope perpendicular to 3/5? Negative 5/3. So your given slope is this. Your perpendicular slope is going to be negative 5/3. It's the negative reciprocal. That's another basic fact knowledge you need to have. Okay. Answer choice B. Okay, read through number 34 right quick while I erase this and get ready. And I need to do something to my phone or it'll keep going off, so. The student council is going to hire a DJ for the winter dance. Each board member is responsible for getting a quote from the DJ and providing an equation that reflects the quote so that the council can select the best quote. Alex talks with Sound Machine and is told that they will charge a setup fee of $35 and an additional $20 per hour, which equation fits the cost or represents the cost of X hours. Well, they're gonna have a setup fee of $35. That's the standard rate, plus $20 per hour. So whichever expression that one is, it's gonna be 35 plus 20x is h. It's another, you just need to have knowledge of linear equations here. Any questions? 35, find the perimeter of that shape. How do you find the perimeter?
All sides.
All sides. That one should be a quick, easy one. Add up all those numbers. And what I do is I just put my finger on where I start, and I just add around until I get my perimeter. 7 plus 4 is 11, plus 2 is 13, plus 5 is 18, plus 5 is 23, plus 4 is 27, plus 3 is 30, plus 1 is 31, plus 3 is 34, plus 4, 38. Your answer should be 38. Answer choice B. You just add up all the sides. Okay, the next one. If you have some knowledge of circles, this one will not be too bad, because this is, the key thing here, this is definitely not a circle, because the equation of a circle takes on this look, which I've already shown you. And if you'll notice, that equation does not look like that, okay? Notice that you've got x minus 4 squared over 25 plus y minus 9 squared, quantity squared, over 4 equals 1. Anytime you have something that looks like this is called an ellipse. This 4, 9 tells you the center of that ellipse. So you can look at those 5 choices and find the ones that obviously is centered at 4, 9. Okay, answer choice E is obviously not, or F is obviously not. G is a possibility. H is a possibility. J is not, because J is centered at the origin. And K, it looks like it's centered around maybe 2 something, okay? Or not 2 something, 4 something. Okay, so your only answer choices that fit here are G and H. This is obviously not a circle. You can compare the two, so it's got to be G. Okay? If you are not familiar with ellipses or hyperbolas or any of those, they've got a section in the book I noticed on page, I don't know if I wrote it down, but I noticed there was a section on there, and it talks about the distance. If you'll notice, this describes the distance from the center. It's the horizontal distance from the center, and this is the vertical distance from the center. That's what those two numbers represent. It's really the square root of this, because the center of your ellipse, you can go 5 to the left and 5 to the right. And this part, you can go 2 up and 2 down. Okay? So, those questions like that, I look for recognition things. I look process of elimination recognition things, because most kids do not have ellipse formulas memorized or hyperbola formulas memorized. But you should have the circle formula memorized at least. Be able to tell the difference there. Okay, 37. A bag contains 4 red marbles, 7 white marbles, 3 blue marbles. If Sue pulls 1 marble from the bag, what's the probability the marble will be blue? Remember, probability is just favorable over total. Favorable over total. So since you want a blue marble, you got 3. How many total marbles do you have? 14. There's your probability 3/14. Answer choice C. Okay, 38. This, you're finding the solution set. Notice that this particular problem is a cubic. That means you could have 3 answers. There's a chance you would have possibly 2. If you have one of your solutions touches the x-axis and bounces back up. Okay? The way I solved this one is I just factored it. 3x cubed minus 15x squared minus 42x. I just factored. Because me and factoring get along well. I like to factor. Greatest common factor is going to be 3x, so I'll pull a 3x out. That tells you right there you're going to have zeros one of your answers. Because once you factor it, you set each part equal to 0. Okay? So it looks like it's either J or K. Let's factor the rest of it. We get x squared minus 5x minus, let's see, 14 maybe? Is that right? Yes. Oops. Are we good? Okay. I've messed up somewhere. Maybe not. Looks like my zeros, you set each part equal to 0. You get 0, 7, and negative 2. If I'm going too fast or if I'm doing something you don't remember, let me know. Answer choice J. I may not be going fast enough for some of y'all. Okay, the next one, determine the equation of a line that contains the points negative 2.5, 4, and 5, negative 2. My first instinct is just to write the equation. Do you feel good enough about writing the equation and going from there? If not, you can do what we call plug and chug. Plug in those values and see if they work for the equation. It's a possibility. But if you were to write the equation, the first thing you'd want to do is find the slope. So you do 4 minus a negative 2 over negative 2.5 minus 5. Okay, you get 6 over negative 7.5, which is the same thing as negative 4/5. Okay? Y'all probably know this, but if you're on the calculator and you have something like this, you can do 6 divided by negative 6.5, math, enter, and then we'll give you this on the TI.
Math, enter, what?
Math, enter.
It's like
It
a
changes.
fraction. It's
Really cool. It's a neat option because you're not going to see many slopes that look like that. Do 6 divided by negative 7.5, math, enter.
That's cool.
Good. Show them a shortcut on the calculator. Okay, once you get that, then you just go from there and write your equation. I love point slope form. Y minus y1. This is the one I use all the time because it works in any situation. And I'm going to use the ordered pair, negative 2, 5, because they're whole numbers. So you just say y minus 5 equals negative 4/5 x plus 2, because this is your x1, y1. Y minus 5 equals negative 4/5 x minus 8/5. Since everything looks like it's in standard form, I multiplied everything by 5. We'll get up here. 5y minus 40 equals negative 4x minus 8. Add the 4x over. Add the 40 over. Now, if you look at your answer choices, this is where it got me. You look at your answer choices, you're not going to find that answer choice there. but you will find a multiple of that answer choice. Okay, I'm looking at my problems and I'm thinking, okay, I need a 4x plus 5y, I don't see one. But I see some 12x's and 15y's. It looks like they multiplied it by 3. Okay, if you multiply it by 3, you get 12x plus 15y equals 96. Answer choice. Ooh, I did something wrong.
Reverse that x and y.
Did I really? Where did I reverse them?
You should have done y minus negative 2 instead of y minus 5.
Is that ordered pair 5, negative 2? Is that where, okay. That's where I messed up. 5, negative 2, I put them in the wrong order. I should have known that because the x is 2. That changes things up right there. Not a whole lot though. So this is going to be a plus 2. This is going to be a plus 25ths, which is 4. Okay, then when you multiply everything by 5, you get 5y plus 10 minus 4x plus 40. There we go. Once you subtract that over, you get 30. I still don't see the answer. Is the answer on there? No. Okay, I've done something. Let me see. 5, negative 2, y minus, or plus 2, negative 4/5, x minus 5. That's a positive 4. 5y plus, multiplying by 5, I get 10 minus 4x. This is where I messed up right here. Because when I multiply this by 5, I should have got 20. And then I subtract, I get a 10, multiply by 3, I get a 30. Now we're on track. E. Finally got the answer. I've had students in the past say, what does it matter how you plug it in? You just saw how it matters. You don't get the right answer. So make sure you get the numbers right. I was going off memory and I shouldn't have. I should have referred back to my problem. Finally got the answer, answer E. But another thing that you think about, you may not get the answer you find when you go this route. So look for multiples of it. Okay, multiply it by 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Or you may need to divide it by some number. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. If there's another one of my mistakes. If that were the only one I made, that would be awesome. Okay, number 40. Find the area of a right triangle with a hypotenuse of 10 and the side of 8. Okay, what you need to know here is you really need to know your Pythagorean triples. Did y'all know y'all's Pythagorean triples? With the right triangles, the
3, 4, 5.
best one is 3, 4, 5. Because if you'll look at what this one is, it says the hypotenuse is 10, and one of the legs is 8. So this one's got to be 6.
Yeah,
It's
one
just-
of the things that an ACT math guy said was just memorize those.
So this is what you've got right here. The area of this is just 6 times 8 divided by 2. 48 divided by 2 is 24. Square, they don't give us units, do they? So it's just 24, answer G. Okay. Okay, so the next one's the absolute value problem. Again, it's distance from 0. Notice on this one, they want both solutions. They're not just asking for, well, there's some of them that just have 1, but there's some that have 2. So I'd find both of them. The absolute value of 5x minus 9 minus 8 equals -1. Okay, let's pretend for a second you didn't have that minus 8 there. That would be a no solution problem. Because absolute value is always, always, always distance from 0. Distance can never be negative. But we've got that minus 8 sitting there. We can move it over. This is kind of like the square root problems. You want to isolate the absolute value. Okay, now you know that your 5x minus 9 has to be 7 units from 0. So that means 5x minus 9 can equal 7, or 5x minus 9 can equal -7. Solving for x, 16/5 and 2/5 is what it looks like it's going to be, which is answer choice E. Just remember absolute value is distance from 0. Isolate the absolute value and solve. Okay, the next one's really interesting. When I was working through these problems to see exactly what they were all about, I put stars by the problems that took a little extra time than normal. That first square root problem was one I put a star by. I put a little star by this one because you have to remember some facts about geometry. One thing you have to remember is how to find the area of a regular polygon. Area of a regular polygon. It's 1/2 the apothem times the perimeter. A equals apothem. P, capital P, represents the perimeter. Now, why do we need to know that? Because this is a volume problem. But if you'll notice, the base of this shape is a regular hexagon. Okay, this is a hexagonal pyramid. That means the base is a hexagon and it goes up to a point at the top. Well, we already know what the volume formula is. It's 1/3 times the base times the height. We've got to figure out what that big B is. So this is what I do. This is one of those problems I had to do some scribbling on. Y'all don't make fun of my drawing. This is supposed to be a regular hexagon. It is not regular. You can tell by looking at it. But I want to put little hash marks there to say this is intended to be regular. Okay? Your apothem is your distance from the center perpendicular to the base. Whoops. Okay? It's distance from the center of your regular polygon perpendicular to the base. Okay? I'm going to form a little triangle there. So I'm going to build on this. This is my little triangle. Okay? Here's your apothem. Make that look more like an A instead of a 9. Since this is a hexagon, I know that this is 120 degrees. The radius of this particular shape cuts that angle in half, so that makes this a 60. Okay, let's see what other information they give us. They said the base of the side was 4. If this whole length is 4, that means this one's 2. What's my apothem? Use special right triangles. Okay, remember 30, 60, 90 is x. X squared of 3, 2x. Where this is your hypotenuse, this is your long leg, that's your short leg. Here's your short leg. Your long leg is your apothem. So in this case, A equals 2 squared of 3. See? You get it? Do you remember doing this in geometry? I tutor 3 nights a week, and I've had kids coming in with these problems going, how do you do this? This is the key. That's the key right there. Okay, now that we know the apothem, the perimeter is just 4 times 6. So there's A, perimeter 4 times 6 is 24. We can find the area now. I take half of, well, 1/2 times 2 is 1. So your base ends up being, the area of your base ends up being 24 squared of 3. So now all you have to do is 1/3 times 24 squared of 3. Now what's the height of the pyramid? Looks 9. Okay, times 9. Here's your work. A third of 24 is 8. 8 times 9 is 72. I'm looking at 72 square root of 3. Is that one of my options? You have to be careful sometimes. I'm figuring on these, they'll probably give it to you in simplest radical form. They won't do decimal versions, but if they did, you just plug it into the calculator. Answer choice H. This is one of those problems you might want to put a star by, because if you don't remember how to do this, because you never know, they may ask you for the volume of the hexagonal prism, and that's just the area of the base times the height. You still have to use this. Okay, any questions, comments, or concerns on this one? It's easy breezy, isn't it?
What's the one for like a 30-degree triangle, or a 30 whatever?
Well, there's a 30, 60, 90, and then there's the 45.
45.
Okay, it is x, because the legs are always the same, x squared root of 2. It's always the length of the leg times square root of 2. Okay. What if, for instance, your hypotenuse is 12? So really 12 equals x squared root of 2, and you want to know what x is.
Let's solve for x.
You solve for x. You know what the shortcut is, though? Take half of 12 and divide and multiply by square root of 2. Let me show you that. This is off topic, but it's kind of on topic since we're on square root of, or special right triangles. If you know that you've got 45, 45, pardon the drawing, and you know this is 12, you could solve for x, yes. You could do x squared plus x squared equals 12 squared, which is 2x squared equals 144. X squared equals 72. Simplest radical form, y'all know how to do simplest radical forms with those? Okay, what does that become? It's half the hypotenuse times square root of 2 every time. And even if that's odd, if that were, say, 9, your leg would be 3.5 square root of 2. It works every time. But that's something else you probably need to be familiar with, is 45, 45, 90 special right triangle. I don't think I used it on any of these practice problems, but I did use this one. I want to say I used it again somewhere. But there's, in this one problem, there are so many facts you need to know. You know, you needed to know that that big angle was 120 degrees. How do you find that? Well, you have this formula. Number of sides minus 2 times 180 gives you total degrees of a polygon. And then if you divide that by n, you get, this is my symbolization, degrees per internal angle, and that's for only regulars. Okay. But see, you needed to know how to do that, to know that, or just have the fact that that angle was 120 degrees and your radius was going to cut it down, make it a 60. So that's one of those problems that's probably a little harder to do. Took a little more scratch work. If you look through my scratch work as I was working through these, some of these problems just has an answer by A, C, J, because it's just random knowledge. But some of it requires some extra work. You're going to be scribbling off to the side in your book. And this is one of those. Oh, looky there, 43. I think 43 is a special right triangle. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's one where you're going to have to use sine, cosine, or tan. You're going to have to use that opposite over adjacent or opposite over hypotenuse. What I do in a problem like this is I draw my picture. Find the height the 17-foot ladder reaches up a building. Okay, I know my ladder's 17 foot, and y'all figured out by now my pictures are not proportional, they're not right on. Okay, the angle that the ladder makes with the ground, 65 degrees. They want to know that height right there. Always look at your angle and what other information you have. You're given an angle, you're finding the opposite side, you're given the hypotenuse. So that's sine. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So we're going to do do sine of 65 equals x over 17. And we're actually finding the answer. Multiply both sides by 17, you'll have your answer 17 sine 65. And in those TI calculators, you just type in 17 times sine 65 and you got your answer. When I typed it in, I got 15.4. Do y'all agree? Have y'all typed it in? Which would be answer choice B. Now, if you're not very good in trig or you don't remember your relationships, you might want to put a star by this problem or a question mark. Okay, the next one, I put a star by it. I don't know how y'all feel about circles. The kids that I have in geometry right now are freshmen and a few sophomores. They hated studying circles because there is a lot of information out there about circles. And you have to, number one, know the definitions. You have to know what the words mean, what chord means, what diameter, radius, secant, tangent, stuff like that means. Notice this one says the diameter of a circle is 34. So what I did is I drew a circle and I drew my diameter. And I marked it as 34. Okay, so that means that my radius is half of that. So there's 17. Okay, it says that it has a chord in the same circle that's 30 centimeters long. So I'm going to draw a chord. A chord is just a segment whose endpoints are on the circle. It can go, the diameter is a chord, but the chord doesn't have to go through the center of the circle. Okay, let's see. What's the distance from the center of the circle to the chord? Okay, so the distance from here to here is going to be the perpendicular segment. Okay, so let me try to draw it accurately. It's not very straight, but okay, it's going to be this radius right here. Keep in mind that's a radius also. The distance will always be perpendicular. Looky there, we've got a right triangle. We know that this chord right here is 30. That means this is 15. Because a radius, when a radius intersects a chord at a 90-degree angle, it bisects it. If it intersects a chord at a 90-degree angle, it bisects it every time. So looky here, we've got a right triangle. We've got a leg and a hypotenuse. This is the distance we're looking for. So x is going to be the square root of 17 squared minus 15 squared. What'd you get? Very good, that's what I got. Which is answer choice 8. Now, 8, answer choice G. Okay, if you don't have a knowledge of circles, you might go back and refresh your memory. There's a lot of information just in that one unit of geometry. There's so many relationships. I went online one time because my kids were they were struggling with circles. Somewhere online I found a summary sheet of all relationships that are involved with circles, and it had everything. It had everything depicted. And if you'll remind me, Shelley, you can make copies of that and bring it to them. I don't know if that helped, but
I can post it online,
okay. I've got it at school.
because we won't meet again before the test probably.
Okay. But this can be a really tough problem if you don't have very good knowledge in circles, honestly. Okay. Let's see. 45. That's another circle problem. But to me, this particular circle problem is easier, but again, it's a relationship. If you have a circle, I'll try to copy this picture best I can. Looks something like this. Okay, it's telling you that this arc over here is 98 degrees. It's telling you this arc is 104 degrees. And notice that the center is about right here. That's all right, that's no big deal. They want you to find this angle here. This relationship is add the two arc measures together. 98 plus 104. Divide it by 2, and you will have your value for x. So you add that, 12. Let me see. 12, add 1. That gives you 0. 202. X is equal to 101.
Okay, so where'd you get that relationship? I'm sorry.
That's just another one of those circle relationships you need to know. In that summary sheet I was telling y'all about, it's on there. This is, and I'm fixing to sound like a main teacher, I'm making my students know that. They don't get a formula sheet on their test. They have to know all these relationships. They have to know that if a radius intersects a chord perpendicularly, it bisects it. You know. But what it is you add these two, divide by 2, and you've got that internal angle. Now what if they what if they wanted you to find that angle? You do the exact same thing and then subtract that from 180, because these two are supplementary. You could do the same thing. Let me show you another relationship you may not remember from circles that's similar to this one. What if you have a circle and the two secants intersect outside, and you want to know that angle? Let's just put some random numbers in here. If you know that this arc is, say, 100, and this arc is, say, 20, I'm just putting random numbers in there. This relationship is 100 minus 20 divided by 2. So it depends on whether your secants intersect outside or inside the circle.
So
Is
if
the way
X
you
is
actually-
outside the circle, you subtract it.
Right. If your two secants intersect outside, you subtract. If they intersect inside, you add. Okay? And I'll give her that. It's just one sheet, and what it has is it has a bunch of circles at the top, and then it has all the formulas at the bottom.
If you could email me the website, I'll stick it on the group page.
Okay. I'll have to look for it. Well, it's probably on that page, but it's all over the school, so remind me first thing tomorrow morning, and we'll get it on there. But that's why that's why my kids do not like the circle unit at all. Because there is a lot of information out there about circles, and I don't even think I cover everything when I teach it. I just cover what I think they might see on the SAT, ACT, or these neat little standardized tests that are thrown our way. Okay, number 46, I put a big star by this. If you don't know arithmetic sequences or geometric sequences, you might want to study them. Okay? These are typical problems you don't see very often. I know the tax does not test you on this. I don't know about the ELCs. I've never seen an end of course. I've seen an Algebra 1 end of course, and they were from a long time ago. But these new ones, I had not a clue what they had on them. But this particular one is arithmetic sequence. There's two formulas you need to remember about the arithmetic sequence. The first one is, if you know the sum of their terms, I don't know if this was the first one, but this is one you need to know. The sum of the terms is equal to the number of terms divided by 2 times the first term plus the last term. Okay, keep in mind that's your first term. That's your last term. And this n represents number of terms. Okay, another formula you need is a sub n. This could be any term in the sequence, or or the last term of the depending on what term you're talking about. A sub 1 plus number of terms minus 1 times what we call a common difference. Common difference. Okay, so let's look at the problem. It tells us the first term is A 8/3. So A sub 1 equals 8/3. Okay, it tells us the last term is 40/3. So A sub n is 40/3. It tells us the sum is 72. Okay, so we're gonna, I guess that's why I call this the first one, because this is the first one you have to use. So this is what we're gonna do. We don't know how many terms are in the sequence yet. We need to figure that out. So we're gonna do 72 equals n divided by 2. A sub 1 is 8/3. That's your first term. This is your last term. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do is multiply the other side by 2 to get rid of this. So I get 144 equals, then I'm gonna add these two, 28/3. Nah, did I write something wrong?
Last term was 40.
Thank you. Tell me. I make mistakes, and I'm not proud of that fact, but that's just human life. So don't hesitate to tell me, please. Okay, so that means that this is 48/3. That makes much. 48/3 simplifies. 48 divided by 3. What is it? 16. So now from there we do 144 divided by 16. Number of terms is what? 9. You're talking like me now.
Yeah, I was just saying equals 9 and I was like,
Okay, so now we know we have 9 terms. Now we can do this. We find the common difference. And with the common difference, then the common difference is just, we'll take it and take the first term, add the common difference, we have the second term. Add the next, again, we have the third term. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the first 4 terms. Okay, so we know that A sub n is 40/3. A sub 1 is 8/3. Number of terms is 9. We need to solve for D. I'm going to subtract 8/3 over, get 32/3 equals 8D. Now, if you're not good with numbers, you can plug them into the calculator. You're going to divide both sides by 8. So you're doing 32/3 divided by 8, which is 32/3 times 1/8. Those cross simplify. Your common difference is 4/3. Now that you know your common difference is 4/3, you can find your first 4 terms.